Ako po si Aruiza. May bahay ng yumaong si Colonel Arturo Aruiza. Naisipan namin ng aking mga anak na ibahagi sa inyo ang mga makasaysayang pangyayari na naisulat sa librong Malacanang Tumakiki ni Colonel Arturo Aruiza. Taus-puso po kami ng aking mga anak na nagpapasalamat sa pagsubaybay sa mga videos na pinangalan ng Military Officer's Memoir. Patnubayan nawa ng mahal na Panginoon ang ating Presidente Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. At makipagtulungan tayo sa administrasyon ng ating Pangulo at ng Vice Presidente Sara Duterte Carpio. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Welcome and greetings to the viewers and subscribers of A Military Officer's Memoir, YouTube channel dedicated to our late father, Colonel Arturo C. Aruiza. We started this channel to inform and to educate the masses regarding the last few days of the first family of the late President Ferdinand E. Marcos and their last few days here in the Philippines and the first-hand experiences in the United States of America, where they stayed until the last days of the late president. My father wrote a book from Malacanang to Makiki, and we are in the process of having the book republished for everybody to read and to enjoy. I hope that you will all continue to subscribe to the channel, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. My family, our mother, and my siblings, and I thank everybody for your support. Again, thank you and have a nice day.
Hello. I would like to thank each and every one of you for subscribing, viewing, and leaving comments on our family's YouTube channel called A Military Officer's Memoir. I read all of the comments and I try to respond if necessary. I know that there are subscribers and viewers from all over the world, the Philippines, of course, the US, Canada, Asia, Europe, the Middle East, and Australia. I'm very delighted for all of the millennials and Generation Z who are following and being objective. I urge you to continue to search for the truth. I urge all of us to strive for peace, to pray for President Bongbong Marcos' success, and to pray for the Philippines. For those who knew my dad, I would like to make this simple request. If you could leave a comment on YouTube or on our family's Facebook page called A Military Officer's Memoir, and tell us about your memory of Colonel Aruiza, that would be truly and greatly appreciated by my family and me. Finally, Dad has been gone for 24 years, but his legacy remains. His loyalty, patriotism, dedication, pristine reputation, generosity, humility, and goodness are still remembered. For me and my family, he is and he will always be in our thoughts and in our hearts. May God bless you all, and thank you very much again. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas!
Hello everyone, kumusta po kayong lahat? I would like to briefly talk to you to answer some questions and comments. A lot of you have speculations on why the videos were released now after over 30 years. Well, mainly it's because our family is very private. It has also been hard, at least for me, since I'm very sentimental And when I see my dad's pictures, it makes me feel sad because I still miss him until now. My entire family does, especially my mom. However, this year, for some reason, I suddenly felt that it was time to share my dad's collection of videos from when we were in exile in Hawaii, his old photos with the late President Ferdinand Marcos, and some newspaper articles. Lastly, I felt that it is about time to show these videos, especially the ones where my dad, former First Lady Imelda Marcos, Miss Irene, and Sir Bongbong Marcos were interviewed. I know that there are many Marcos supporters out there, but there are many really loud oppositionists who keep on spreading false information and just keep demonizing the late PFM. Parang silang parang silang sirang plaka na paulit-ulit na sinisiraan si PFM and his family. So, I felt that it's time to release these videos. You all need to understand that what the Marcoses went through from when they were abducted from Malacanang until PFM's death was so heartbreaking. We had our share of misfortunes too. As you all know by now, my dad was with PFM and his family in Malacanang. He never left PFM's side, so he was not able to say goodbye to us. He was not able to come home to hug and kiss us before he boarded that plane headed to Guam. My dad and mom never talked about this, but recently my mom opened up and told me about the pain of how she had to leave everything because we were in danger. She had to leave our home, cars, possessions, family, friends, and a job that she enjoyed. When we reached Honolulu in 1986 to join Dad less than a month after the EDSA revolution, it was a culture shock. We all had to adjust to living in a foreign country and renting a small 3-bedroom townhouse. I was still young then, a teenager, so I did not realize the seriousness of the situation, but I knew that we were treated differently. Even in school, I used to attend a private all-girls Catholic school in BF Homes, Quezon City. I was ostracized by some people. I still remember those moments. I feel sad for adults and parents who brainwashed their kids. I know that there are so many loyalists out there. Huwag po kayong magalit. I use the Last Loyalist since it was used as a title of a newspaper article to describe my dad back in the early 1990s by a journalist from Malayan newspaper. So some of you have asked whether the Aruiza family is still in contact with the Marcos family. As I mentioned before, we are very private, and I'm just speaking for myself. But the last time I saw the former First Lady, Miss Irene, and Sir Bongbong Marcos was at my dad's funeral services and burial in July 1998 at the Libingan ng mga Bayani. You know, my dad separated his work from his family life. He never brought work home. Every time he came home, he gave us his full attention. I think Dad just wanted to relax and unwind since he carried such a big burden and responsibility, especially when we were in Hawaii, where he managed the staff of over 40 people, plus all the volunteers. He was also the spokesperson, right-hand man, confidant, and the only aide-de-camp of President Ferdinand Marcos. My dad wrote about his first-hand experience in his book, Ferdinand E. Marcos, Malacanang to Makiki. Doon po ninyo malalaman ang katotohanan dahil nandoon ang dad ko. This is the only book, I believe, that was written by someone who served PFM for decades. As you may have heard or watched from then Governor Bongbong Marcos' eulogy for my dad, he said that my dad was an extension of his father and a brother. BBM also told my dad in Honolulu when he heard about my dad's book. He said, "You knew Dad more than anyone among us children did." With that said, we are working on having Dad's book republished since only a few were published and sold in 1991 and 1992. Dad's wish back when he was alive was for his book to be part of the educational system. It's a historical book after all, written by a man who was highly regarded by everyone, whether Marcos supporters or opponents. A man who exemplified what it was to be an officer and a gentleman. He was loyal, dedicated, and he stuck by the late President Ferdinand Marcos through thick or thin until the very end. He was a good man. He worked very hard and with dignity to provide for his family. He taught us so many life lessons by being a role model. He loved us unconditionally. For me, he was my hero. I hope and pray for Filipinos to unite, to live in peace, and to support the current government. I pray for the Philippines to be a great nation again under the leadership of President Bongbong Marcos and Vice President Sara Duterte Carpio. I pray that President Bongbong Marcos will find people like my dad to work with him and to work for him. Salamat po sa inyong lahat.